Hi everyone. Let's just wait. We just waited just a couple minutes. It's really great. As you know, that I used to do live shows a lot especially during COVID. I used to do live classes. Those classes are still right now in YouTube, and we got so many live classes in my YouTube channel, and it's a fully stored and everything, and you can, as long as you have internet access, you can go back. Sometimes I look at those classes, they're very interesting. Between combinations, and I will give some of my, during COVID, the life's hard at that time, and we'll have some kind of feelings and outbursts. It's really great. And then now nobody knows at that time, what we were doing, but now you look back, it's almost like how do you say it? It's like a message in a bottle. You captured in the essence of that time, and what a incredible time we have endured. But at this moment, the other day, we'll have meeting with my team, and I thought that let's bring it back. Instead of making videos, and I just wanted to have this opportunity to connect with everyone, and I have connected with many people through emails and through social media, of course, and multiple channels, and sometimes people join my program and or on the road and all over the world, and I talk to people, and I say, you know what, Mr. Du, I've been looking at you, I've been watching you for years. I said, since when? It's like, since QF years. Okay, this was many years ago, and I always flabbergasted when I sort of realized that, my journey has been witnessed by many people, and have many people cared for me, and up until this moment. So I just wanted to make this a regular thing. Okay, so this is I really missed it, because during COVID, sometimes I would do 4 live broadcasts, live classes. Like each class would be like 2 hours long, and that was truly my experience. It was like Mr. Josh and Miss Isaac right here. We used to do it in QF Studios, and then later on, after we locked down, and we were doing it in my basement, in this studio right here. And once the travel was restricted, and I did this with my loving wife right here, and she was a tech, and she will constantly connect with the with the leaders of the tech support, and to make this thing beautiful. And I really truly miss it. I want to bring back. This is my opportunity to express myself with you all, and to be connected with this in a live setting. So, and I, interestingly, I used the topic today. We talk about, what are we talking about? I like to talk about the hello everybody. I see so many people just joining me. I'm so happy. Wow, it's like wonderful. And but today, the topic is the essence of struggle. I do want it's a heavy topic. It's the essence of struggle in ballet and in life. And what are we talking about now? So I'm not going to separate what's struggle in ballet, what's struggle in life. I'm gonna it's really all in one pot together. So what is a struggle? And I think it's important for us to put a definition on it. And do we ever graduate? Do we ever evolve ourselves to an area where we don't struggle anymore? And I think this is perhaps why people are meditating, because when you meditate, one of the things that important, I believe, when you meditate, is have your mind to be clean, to be clear, to be empty. I know it's very difficult to do. Sometimes I try to take a nap, and I'm like a nap person. I wanted to, just for 20, 15 minutes, I want to just lay down and close my eyes. That rejuvenate me and my energy, and calm myself down. At that time, what I try so hard to do is just to think of nothing. I want to isolate myself, my mind from the rest of the world. I want to make sure that I am not to be bothered. I want it to be sheltered, to be this clear mind, there's a little space in my life, in my at that moment to capture the 15-20 minutes that I'm not bothered. The word bother is not somebody talking to you. It is not somebody poking at you. It is not somebody calling you. The bother is bother what? Ideas, information, right? So information come at us these days are incredible. Thank you, everybody. I'm waving you back. I got so many people here. It's about the information and like we even talk about light pollution. What does that mean, light pollution? I just learned that phrase not long ago. Light pollution is this light shining on you right now, street lighting, on the street, traffic, street lamp. Once this kind of things to be away, not longer there, is to force ourselves to be quiet, to be calm, to be resolute. And at that moment, actually, your mind actually can have a space to think about something else. So at this particular moment, and I think people meditate just to have a moment of a quietness. Yeah. So this moment of quietness actually allow us to think, allow us to rejuvenate ideas, rejuvenate our energy to move forward. So in this particular case, I do want to talk about is sense of struggle. Sense of struggle is, first of all, we do have to understand, I talked about earlier, we don't ever evolve, we don't ever graduate. And as the world we live in today, we don't really say that, I don't want to have that anymore unless you spend 24/7 meditate. And I do believe this is why people do a lot of yoga, a lot of meditation, just to get away, Okay, so this is the type of people, they wanted to have a moment of retreat. Says, I don't want to deal with this, I'm going to be myself, and I want to protect myself from the noises, from the light, from all the interruptions of my life. Now, if we don't have that kind of luxury to have that escape, what do we do? I like to offer a way of thinking is acceptance. So that word itself, to me, in recent years, have actually played a very, very big role in acceptance and allowing. Another word I want everybody to think, allowing. And it has a pretty impactful energy for me, as both in my life and my career, my professional career. And many years ago, I danced for Suzanne Farrell, one of the most celebrated, one of the most unreal human being, as far as just as a human, as an artist, what she has contributed, what she has accomplished in art, an art form of ballet, incredible American ballerina. But I had the privilege to dance for her for 10 years. So in the last 10 years of my career, I actually danced for two companies, Washington Ballet and Suzanne Farrell Ballet. I danced for two companies simultaneously. So it was an unbelievable time of my life. And I used to, a Kennedy Center, let's for example, we have a Sunday night in Washington Ballet, like start at 2, finish about like 4:30 or so. I will go straight to National Reagan Airport. From Kennedy Center, I have my suitcase, I go straight to the airport. I will catch Suzanne Farrell Ballet on tour anyway, somewhere on tour. I will catch them and I will be with the company Monday morning. It was like, unbelievable. And I actually never missed any production of any company for 10 years. I danced for two companies. I didn't miss any production of either company. It was quite an incredible time. But I want to tell you a story how I got the job. And I was dancing with Washington Ballet. And we had a beautiful guest artist for Washington Ballet. And I was fortunate enough to partner her. and she was already a member of Suzanne Farrell Ballet. It was before it's called it was a group. It was an artistic group belonged to John F. Kennedy Center. It was not a company yet. So she was saying, we are going to be. I think this company will be good for you if maybe you can have some performances with them. And I think, basically, I think she wanted me to dance for her, with the company. So at one point, the company was in town, in Kennedy Center. Suzanne Farrell Ballet, before Suzanne Farrell Ballet, was in Kennedy Center. And my friend was like, why don't you come take class with her? Maybe you can, maybe she like you, and maybe there's opportunities. And I always love opportunities. And I called the company. They were like, why? Why are you here? So they basically said, what's the purpose? And I just said, I cannot just say, I like to take company class with Miss Farrell. That's not gonna work. And I just say, I like to see if there's opportunity that I can work for her. I can dance for her company. So it was granted, and I went over there to take class. Now, keep in mind, at that time, how old was I? I was like 26, 27. I've been professional dancer for like 10 years, and I was experienced, and I was not just come from school, I was experienced. So I'm taking this class, and at one point, this class, the exercise itself, it was so complex to the point. It was so fast. I don't remember anybody knows Suzanne Farrell Ballet, you know what I'm talking about. The speed, it was just so incredibly complex. This was a warm-up class before the performance. Think about it. It's like 2 o'clock at night. This class was 10:30 in the morning in the Studio 4 in John F. Kennedy Center. It was so fast and complex. At one point, I truly didn't know how to engage. And I tell you, I think a professional dancer out there know what I'm talking about. And I didn't know how to engage at all. And I would just look at the combination. My muscle does not know how to engage. And it was a part of me fascinated, and a part of me multiple. A part of me don't want to make a fool of myself. I like to keep this sort of a stoic, professional, elegant persona, but I didn't want it to show how desperate I would look if I was trying to do that kind of combination. And at one point, so bad to a point where I tell you, and I just look at the combination, like a person standing in front of me, and I think it was Philip Neal. I really think it was Mr. Neal from Next Generation Ballet. I think he was in front of me, and I stood behind him, and I can't even follow it. I just didn't do it. It was like a jeté or tendu. It was so fast. I just didn't even do it. And the class went on, and I struggled through, and everything. So it didn't go really well, and a lot of things that I just couldn't participate fully. So I remember, this is the moment I'm going to share with you all. This is the moment. After class, everybody's off, and I was there. She came to me, and she put her hand on my shoulder. She literally walked me to the window. I think Studio 7. It was a Studio 7. Smaller studio, and after the renovate, become really nice. Before the renovation, it was not very nice. In Studio 7, 4 is a bigger one. This was a smaller one. So she walked me to the window. It was like Whitehurst Highway out there in Washington, D.C., by Potomac. And she put her hand, walked over me to the window. She says, at the minute you allow yourself to participate, now those are words you think about it. She says, the second you allow yourself to participate, you're almost there. He says you're halfway there, you're almost there. It's like as soon as you allow yourself to do it, as soon as you allow yourself to participate, you are all halfway there. And then she used a gesture, it's like open the window. She's like this. She says, basically, you allowed information to come to you. You accept. You accept this is going to be hard. You accept this is going to be very uncomfortable. You accept that this is going to make me look ridiculous. This movement itself, you're going to be halfway there already. Now, I always remember this for longest time. And I just talked to my students about that the other day, just a couple of days ago, about that. And it was a very powerful reminder of, first of all, remind ourselves the fact we are powerful. We have a lot of potential. We have a tremendous ability, but unlocking those potential and ability, it's not from external force. It's from ourselves. So this is something that I think I wanted to talk to the young people today. We often, these days, we often facing the mental issues, struggles, and we have a lot of anxiety, unsureness about ourselves. First of all, I do believe this is not a generational thing. It is not. And a lot of people like to say, oh, this is the generation, or this generation, this, and it is not. Human race has endured a lot, okay? If you look at the history right now, what we're having right now, it's the good old peacetime. There's no problem right now. There's no problem. I mean, we have up and downs. We have a politically challenged time. We have a good time. We have bad time. But look at the history. This is okay. You know, even just American history in the 60s, we talk about Vietnam War. We have here Washington D.C. We have the military parked there. The military police was on the street. It was a tumultuous time, and I'm teaching university. That's remind my university students. It will be social unrest all over the place. I mean, truly, some of the very tumultuous time that we have experienced just in the last 100 years, if you think about it. Let alone the war that we have experienced as a world, as a people. Right now, you look at the history. If you look back, coming back, we're peacetime. So why the fact that one thing that I do believe that we do need to address, and what's happening is that I think teachers and the so-called the mentor, and I myself a teacher, and I think educators, the parents out there, are not doing one thing, which is fairly and seriously addressing that so-called the bad time of our lives, so-called the bad time of our education, so-called the fact of struggle. Come back to the original topic of this broadcast, the sense of a struggle. And I think we are trying very hard to pave this perfect world, to paint this perfect world, to eliminate all the struggles, all the challenges, all the imperfect elements out of this world in our child development. And that itself created a bit of issue. I do believe that. So if you talk about young people today, so you talk about young generation, you talk about why this generation is so vulnerable, why they are crumbled, and when they experience something, why they're having such a difficult time to face setback. It's not a generational thing, and I do believe it's a social media played that role. I do not believe that. And I do believe it is how we interact with the young people today, how we address the issue of struggling and hard times and failure, how we address not able to live up to the expectation. And that part itself, and I think we do need to talk about. So I want to go back to talk about acceptance. We have to, in the way, be open and strong to accept the fact that life is hard. Life is difficult. So the more we talk about life is easy, you should be just forget about the hard time. If you don't like anything, just give up, say no, do something on your own, to create your own business, to create your own ideas. You don't have to be a part of a team. That message is harming. I do believe it's not. I do believe it's not healthy to young people's development. I do believe that the structure, the team member, to be a part of a community is important for us. Acceptance, ballet. Okay, with this project, with this progress, we talk about struggling in ballet and in life. They're absolutely connected in our business. Ballet is hard. you know, for all these ballet people out there, you know very well, adult students and normal professional students, professional dancers, tell me which day that you have not struggled. Tell me. Tell me which class you haven't struggled. The whole ballet technique is based on struggling. I mean, you think about it. Every single word coming out of teacher's mouth is tell you to do what? A little bit more plie, point your feet a little harder, get your leg a little bit higher, more turned out, more this, more that. It's the whole thing. Actually, you talk about the energy coming out of ballet. Now, I will talk about the energy source. So those of you who take my class, you know the energy source was what? Pressure, friction, and speed. Pressure itself, it needs a lot of power, needs a lot of purpose, needs a lot of dedication and commitment to create. We actually manufacture pressure. Think about this. Everything out there, including yoga, including all these other things, so we can relieve the pressure from our lives. Guess what ballet technique does? Ballet technique teach you to manufacture, to create pressure so you can do the technique. Think about that. So therefore, we have to accept training is hard. Recently, I had posted a video, about the regular run and everything else. And the student wrote me, very, very interesting. The student said, teacher, I know this. I know you're right. I just can't do it. I just cannot do it. So the interesting thing is, and I felt that there is a genuine, the feeling in the wording. It was right. It was a message. And I think it was beautiful because it showed vulnerability. It showed the weakness of a human being. That's a number one. That's a step one for improvement. So we have to recognize ballet is hard for the students out there. And the whole training system is based on work beyond your ability to create a physical activity that actually is abnormal. That as far as we wanted to talk about Porter-Brown's organic, if you do the rotation, if you do the turned out is right and everything will be great, yes, it is true. However, our job is working with our body to create an artwork of movement. That's it. A movement of artwork. It express something so beautiful, express something so profound, and use the object of our artwork is what? Our body. Think about that. Normal sculptor, let's say, they create a wood piece, they use wood, or even with thank you so much. I enjoyed this comment so much, and I appreciate that. Thank you. And this is why we have this moment together. A lot of people here, East Coast, and Saturday afternoon. I appreciate you spending time with me wherever you are. You can be at Starbucks, you can be at home, you can be anywhere. Put it on, and just let me. I'm sorry. Let me talk at you for a moment. But sculptor, even marble, the hard surface is still manipulated. You can manipulate marble, you can manipulate wood, you can manipulate steel, you can manipulate glasses to make incredible sculptures to express your feelings, express your inspiration. What do? We use our body. What about musician? Musician use instrument. Okay, instrument does not have soul. I don't care what you tell me. This incredible violin that Yo-Yo Ma uses has its soul itself, and I think it is from the wood from an area in Italy that had a forest fire, and the wood that from that particular fire, and then the harvest wood and has a particular sound. Incredible. That alone, phenomenal, fantastic. But the instrument has soul. No. An instrument becomes soulful because the player played them. However, only dancers use their body as instrument. That to me is the most difficult. Because the wood itself doesn't have sensation, doesn't feel the pain. We do. we do feel the stress of our legs, stress of our skin, stress of our muscles, stress of ligaments, stress of our bones, and everything. Fatigue. And what else we have? Oh, we have mind. We have a mind that can process information. We have a mind to receive information and have a reflective moment to feel, to have our body to do certain things and to not to do certain things. So every day we go into studios and we polishing what I say. Battement tendu itself, the movement of battement tendu, it's like sanding. It's like literally I try to be as poetic as possible when I teach my students. It's like you polish your body, you polish the foot, you polish the leg. Every time you do a tendu, you feel something. Use the floor, and every time you do a fondu, you feel the pressure, and you maintain the turnout. Every time you chisel, look at yourself in the mirror, you chisel something out of it, and you create something phenomenal. But itself, it is unbelievable amount of work just because you know very well. And I used to be like, some days, I go take a company class, and no matter what I do, I feel phenomenal. No matter what I do, I feel great. My muscle is right there for me, and all I do is reach out. All I do is reach out to do a tendu, and I look great. I look at myself in the mirror. I love everything about it, and I don't have to do anything. My parents right there for me, and my teacher loved everything that I do. Wonderful. Those are days, absolutely those days were there. And I spent a lot of days chasing. However, it could be the very next day. It could be the very next day, you go in there, you do a one tendu, you're exhausted. You know exactly what I'm talking about. You do one plie, you're exhausted. Your feet, you can push your toes as hard as you can, and you look at the mirror, it looks terrible. It's the same body. Everyone, you know that, right? It's the same body. The body did not change overnight. So what are we working here? Is the feeling, is how we feel, how we feel and project ourselves from the mirror. And that's what we're working with. This is why ballet career is one of the most challenging career, and yet is one of the most rewarding career. So what has to happen at that particular moment for the people who are successful in all business? They have accepted this. They have accepted their destiny. They have accepted the fact that this is hard. The sooner we realize this, everything will be, I don't want to say easier, but certainly makes more sense for us. So what does Suzanne Farrell try to tell me? I was 26 years old, professional dancer. Basically, she wanted to tell me is you have to just open yourself, let the hard thing come into you, and as a part of the process, that your leg. So a few weeks later, I was in love with those classes, and my mind, my body improved that much. Okay, the class did help me to organize my body, to understand, well, how do I do those tendu that fast. But I didn't improve that much in 3-4 weeks. It is when I allowed myself to participate, when I allowed myself to be a part of it, when I allow myself to understand that it is difficult, but yes, you can do it. Yes, you can do it. And you look at all the principal dancers. I love World Ballet Day. I love it. And it's on YouTube. You watch it. Sometimes I have time and I just watch the class. I love to watch company class. Now you know how people dance in a company, in a class setting, is really represent who they are as people. As people, because on stage you're in a costume, you're in a role. However, in the classroom, how they participate in group classes is really a part of personality. And you can see, I can tell you, all the principal dancers have one thing in common. I can tell you right now. If you go look at it, those company classes, they're quieter, they're calmer, they're more focused. They're more, I don't want to say they work harder than anyone else, no. They are just more of, have ability to compartmentalize what their task and they have the ability to control their temper. They have ability to control their emotion. They have ability to absorb new and hard information and digest and through their body to come up something that manageable. They are more in control of their mind and their body than anyone else. So now, if that day when I was auditioned for Suzanne Farrell, when I look at this, all those very difficult, very challenging exercises, now after that experience, I would have more tools, more ammunition in my ability to cope the situation. I will not just stand there and don't do anything, because perhaps the experience made me more mature. The experience made me my physical ability as a dancer, and as far as my mind goes, I think it would be helpful. So if you look at the successful people, successful students in our industry, they are quieter and have a more ability, more room in their thought process and in their physical capacity to absorb information, and then so-called not freak out when they absorb new information or terrible news. Terrible news in ballet could be a terrible combination, but they have more endurance to manipulate, to transform the situation, become their advantage. So we do need to allow ourselves to absorb hard times. It's a part of it. And what's interesting part about this right now, and I do want to have to say about if social media, and I love social media. Look at what we're doing right now. Social media is phenomenal, and that was the reason why I did all this during COVID, did all this free live broadcast classes. The reason why is that when you have internet, you have a class, right? If you don't need to travel, go to the studios, you don't need to pay money. You can be at home. You can take class at home. That was the whole notion about live classes that I taught hundreds of them actually, and during COVID time. But the issue we have here is that when we accept this all surroundings, including social media. Now, one thing I do have to say, the students are having a little bit hard time to analyze all this information come to them. One of the things is when they look at the social media and when they look at those incredible pictures of dancers, they look at the students can turn 10, 12 times, absolutely phenomenal. But the students having difficult time to analyze what's reality, what's not, right? So social media have tendency to present itself a unattainable, not realistic expectations. I do have to say that, right? The videos took hours to make, that even manipulate in certain ways that the lines look extraordinarily refined, and that does create a unrealistic expectation for young students. Now, what's confusion part? I want to break this down to you. Also, social media tell them that it's okay to be not excellent. Two extreme. You understand? You're following me. One extreme is you showing people dancing, turning 12 times on point, have that smile. You show the students have incredible arched legs, glorious positions, and you set that unrealistic expectation for children. That at the same time, there is another voice on the internet saying, be yourself, it's okay, you are as good as anyone else. If you don't like something, give up, do something new. You know, you don't need to be a part of it. You are as strong, you are as an individual, you are just strong. Just quit. If you don't like something, quit. Stop it. So we have this two voice out there, right? Every time you look at the film, there's people telling you to be free of these things. and be yourself. You can just go out there and dance the ballet the way you want to. You don't have to turn out. You don't need to. You just do natural, your fifth position. It's okay. You don't need to force yourself to turn out. You don't have to point a foot. Your turn, as long as you feel beautiful, as long as you deserve just like anyone else out there. And even if you do 2 turns on the knee point and hop to 5 times, it's okay. It's okay because it's you out there. You hear the problem is, right? We have this 2 extreme voice constantly fighting, and leave the young people today in the middle. Does not know where should they belong. Either way, they don't belong anywhere. That's where the stress comes from. So for us as educator, what do we do? What do we do? And I do believe that we have to be honest. Honesty is absolutely the best tool. It could be, at that moment, it could be difficult. It's a part of the teacher's job to be honest, to be open, because they come to you for what? For answers, for solutions. So we have to be that person, to be honest. And I don't ever tell students that at the 5th position, if they show me 5th position, I don't think it's 5th, I will never tell them it's 5th position. Never. So at this conjunction, it's time to talk about the journey. The journey. So 5th position, the journey to the perfect 5th position itself cannot be ignored. Why are you telling the people that it is not okay to have a 5th doesn't look like a 5th? But you also have to introduce the journey, the tool, point out, facilitate the pathway for them to have the perfect 5th position. Right? We cannot tell them it's your 5th. We cannot tell them a 5th position doesn't look like a 5th is 5th. We also cannot tell them that this position, it's okay. It's not okay. We cannot stop there. We have to give them tools. We have to provide a pathway for them. I think this is just a metaphor for life. And a lot of things I said, out there, and a lot of comments say, well, this is for life. It's true. It's very true. So what is it? It's the journey. It's journey to perfection. There is a perfect 5th position, I do believe. I see many people have perfect, and I don't think there's anything wrong with that 5th position. Right? So the journey itself, from an imperfection to perfection, the journey itself, it must be introduced, and that must be analyzed, introduced, recognized, and cherished. Journey. And this is why we do ballet every single day. To make ourselves stronger, to make ourselves more aware, to make ourselves understand the journey itself from one point to the other takes time, takes effort, and there is a process. Respect for the journey and the process. So what I wanted to write to the girl who said to me, it was a really long step. It says, I understand, I know you're right, but I just can't do it. But the problem is, you cannot do today. Nobody can do relevant like that today. Nobody. You have to respect time and the process. This is the part I think a lot of parents and having difficult time to understand this. The ballet cannot be perfect. You cannot be a ballerina overnight out there. It will never happen. And when you participate in a competition and you get a gold medal, it really does not mean that child is gold medalist. And she does that silver variation perfectly. It doesn't mean anything like that. So we were looking for answers out there, but we absolutely ignored the process of journey, the process, the idea of process and journey from one position to the other. And you look at the ballet class, it's a perfect metaphor of this journey. We start with a warm-up. We start with our feet, right? Then we do our plie. Then we finally reach out to do tendus. then we apply more energy to do jeté. After this, we do horizontally. We work our way from one-dimensional movement to a circular. After we do the circular, we do a one leg encroupier, the other leg bend, and it's a coordination challenge and the more stress on our whole body on one leg plie. It's absolutely designed for us to go through this journey. And at the end of the class, I usually love just go crazy, grand allegro, do the double tours, and the free. The last grand allegro is designed for you to have the joy. I love that moment. If everything goes right, and at that moment I feel like I'm invincible. I am like the strongest, the happiest person on earth. That's why sometimes all the girls, the students do the codas, do the PK turns, the forte turns, the boys do double tours and the big tricks at the very end of the class. Because the struggle they had throughout, coming in the classroom, feeling horrible, the leg, point, but we didn't give up. We push forward, we push for everything toward the end. You're free. You go crazy. You go free. And that point, you know that very well. Out there, professional dancers, ballet students, you know very well that at that moment you are strongest, you're happiest person on earth. There's nothing really out there can compare this kind of happiness. I mean, you can win the lottery, right? You can win something like that. But this kind of sensation, this kind of satisfaction, nothing really can replace that as a ballet dancer. You know that very well. And I used to love to do double tours, and I loved when people watching, applauding. It's truly, you can feel that kind of power that in your body, and I work so hard. Now at one point, and I was like completely killed myself, like in the class. One day I was like completely on the floor, like tired after class. And I remember Suzanne Farrell leaned over to me and said, "Are you all right?" I said, I'm fine, and I'm okay. And the whole rehearsal, the next day I couldn't even walk. I was so tired I couldn't even walk. And then that's just always the story of what we have, what we give, what we sacrifice, the whole thing. However, what we do want to talk about is at this moment, moving on, the process, the journey, respect from every step the way to fortify yourself, to fortify your mind, your knowledge, to a moment where you accept yourself of what? Sense of accomplishment. A sense of accomplishment, the sense, that kind of internal happiness I just felt. And another moment I think everyone can understand. It's like you just accomplished something. I used to, so hard, you work on a production, you work on it for weeks, and it's so difficult. And then suddenly you go to Kennedy Center, you have your 5-6 performances, and then it's over. And I used to love the feeling, in Kennedy Center, you open the backstage door, you walk onto the where the second level open areas in Kennedy Center, and you look to your left. What is? It's Georgetown University, the Potomac River. It's like a beautiful, glorious, oftentimes Sunday afternoon. At that moment, you just take a deep breath, and you just truly, very quietly, you can feel what that means to be truly happy. It is nothing like it is the sense of I made it, sense of total containment, total you're pleased the fact that you have gone through it and you did not give up and you accomplished something very, very, very beautiful. And it's quiet. Those moments are not celebratory, not open the beer, not shouting and walking up and down and running around. No, it's not like that. It's very calm. It's very quiet. I take a deep breath. I just walk home. I lived in Colorado. If you know DC. I just walk from Kennedy Center. I walked to Colorado. It was like a glorious afternoon. Phenomenal. And also the struggle, and for weeks, and I remember, I can tell you one story. I'm okay to share this story. And I had a just incredible amount of just, I was just exhausted, just pure exhaustion, just to be a professional dancer, just exhausted. We have a tour, we normally have a long tour, and then you go to Kennedy Center, you have the very last big performance in Kennedy Center. You used to just be totally exhausted. I tell you, one time, I was having just dressing room, and I was taking my time. The very last performance, I did a very, very good job, and I was loving it, very happy. And I just put my things together, and I changed to put my bag together, and the tour ended. Everything went well, everything. And my my future wife, Miss Erin, I didn't know, and she knocked on my door. Who is that? And I opened the door. It was Erin, and at that time. And I have to share with you, and I saw her. I just come out of nowhere. I just start to just cry. I think she was completely surprised. She didn't know what to react. And then she was like, well, what's happening? Is everything okay? And I just saw her. I don't know, it's like a child saw a mother or something. She certainly was not a mother figure to me. But when I saw her, and I just lost it, and I just started crying. I'm not talking about like in tears. I'm like talk about just like crumbled, and I think everything was trapped inside, like all this hard work, and sometimes it's suffering. It's a terrible feeling to make something worth something. Now when I saw her, and I think all this emotion, for some reason, her presence, and it's just her simplicity of her just standing there, and I just completely lost it. And I remember that moment. And then later on, we talk about it, and I just, she hugged me, and I just lost it. But those emotions makes who we are as human beings. It makes who we are as people. And I'm absolutely blessed to have had those opportunities. I'm absolutely feeling blessed to be able to have the opportunity to experience something like this. And I think that opportunity should be given to young people. It's more than just instant gratification. It's more than that. It is a hard to come by, but I think as society, we do have responsibility to provide that kind of opportunity for students to succeed, because without that kind of experience, it's hard out there. It's hard out there to actually to stand on your own, to stand up, to face something challenging without a tool, without the emotional capacity, without actually physical. Sometimes I even talk about your physical endurance to withstand something that so challenging. Not just your mind. I'm talking about your physical body have to be there to be strong. When we do DuCon out there, we will go to Malaysia, Singapore, and guess what? We work. We arrive the country from another side, the other side of the world. I don't have luxury to feel jet lag. I don't have luxury. If I don't allow myself to have the jet lag, I won't have one. I don't have jet lag. I tell you right now, people say, well, are you sleepy? No, I don't. Because I don't even allow that to happen to me. I don't. There was time that I arrived in Singapore in the morning. I went to the studio in the afternoon. It was like 3 o'clock my time in the morning, 3 o'clock in the morning of mine. But if you don't think about it, it won't bother you. If you don't think about it, you only the jet lag is going to bother you, make you sleepy, is you think about, oh my God, it's 3 o'clock in the morning for me. Should I be tired? If you allow yourself to be tired, to be sleepy, you will. If you say, this is 3 in the morning, 3 in the afternoon here, behave like 3 in the afternoon, there will be no jet lag. I'm not saying this to you. I think I am saying this to you, the fact that that's my experience. I'm not making this up, seriously. I mean, we can't afford it to go to a foreign country just to have a couple of days of get used to the jet lag, get used to time. No, we don't. We couldn't afford it. The country is like extremely expensive. You go there, you work. So, you know, and a lot of things that I think I hate to say it, we made it up, but we make ourselves vulnerable that way. You know, when I decided to leave Kirov Academy to have our own business, I can tell you very, very, you know, vividly. And one afternoon, we had a meeting, as like Josh and I, just three of us had a meeting to plan what are we going to do, what we wish to do with this business, what is the mission, what we're trying to accomplish, what is the identity. We had that talk. Man, I mean, normally organization will be for weeks of planning, right? Weeks of planning, and somebody have to write up the whole proposal, somebody have to write up things, but we were very clear what we try to accomplish. We were very clear to provide the students with the highest quality of education and at the convenience of modern technology. And that's the dedication. This is the framework. And we're going to treat every student have the desire to learn, have the opportunity to learn. We're going to provide that highest quality. It doesn't matter who they are, as long as they have the destiny, as long as they have the desire to learn, we'll teach. However, when we design activity, then what exactly what are we going to do with this program? Nobody knows. Nobody knows. And we have designed a couple of things that still exist. That's one thing I'm really proud of our program, have been very consistent. The original portion, the original element of RDBC still exists today. Beautiful. We never stopped. And actually the schedule has been very consistent. We have 3 teachers, including myself. We teach students literally worldwide. I see one student is their home is going to be in the evening, going to sleep, the other studio right next to the Zoom, somebody's waking up. Phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. I mean, have no limitation in terms of who they are, where they are. I can put every student on that TV screen. Beautiful. That was our goal, and it is still our goal. However, what we do have evolved so much to a point where large portion of what we do today, we never visualized it back then. So one thing I think for me, I felt my experience as a professional dancer did prepare me for this moment. The moment of just go with it, just to go with it. And I didn't try to analyze so much about what about this, what about that. And when the opportunity comes, when the thoughts came up in our head, we went for it. And everything, so this is all about what we talked about earlier, acceptance, allowing. Accept the reality of the society out there, the industry, asking more out of me, asking more. I don't have 25th hour. It's only 24 hours to everybody, the same. But what we do now, it's about 10 times more of volume in terms of content, in terms of what we do. 10 times more projects. We have AOBI, we have DoCon worldwide. These 2 things we never thought of this before. All we had was RDBC, online classes. Now we have live classes, we have world travel, international ballet intensives, and we just went to South America. Never been to Brazil, beautiful, successful. And we just launched AOBI because teachers want to support, they want a training. So large portion of everything we do today never discussed at that meeting, never did. But we allowed it to happen. I just went for it. All 3 of us, we just went for it. And Mr. Aaron are a part of all of us. And so Thank you, everybody. I appreciate everybody's waving at me and everything. Thank you so much. Thank you. And I think that idea of to be the idea with the professional ballet training, and also 20 years of being a professional dancer really prepare us for all of this. And look before COVID, which group of people the earliest got themselves mobilized, organized online classes? Ballet teachers. Ballet teachers didn't miss a beat. Right away, online classes, full schedule, everything organized, nobody panicked. And during 2 years, when the ballet dancers are supposed to be on stage in training, and they were literally 2 or 3 years got stolen out of them, guess what? They learned another skill. When we come out of COVID, there was like a huge new workforce into the society. The graphic designer, lighting designer, the accountant, the graphic designer, those were all ballet dancers. Nobody sat at home doing nothing. Everybody posting the videos on, including myself, posting the videos, taking classes, doing phenomenal things in the living room. Right away. Ballet dancers never had a chance to, never had the luxury just to sit there and to feeling sorry about themselves. We can mobilize right away, and it was just phenomenal experience. So, acceptance, allowing. And in all business, I talked about earlier, there is a I love this phrase so much. You know, it's the code of ancient samurai. A code. One of them says, it's never pursuit, never stop pursuit of perfection. So the beauty of this sentence, I have scrutinized for many years. So it is the perfection they're asking for, is that what they ultimately what they're looking for, is to be absolutely perfect? So what is the main word in never stop pursuit of perfection? What is the beauty? What is the most important part in this sentence? It's not perfection. It's not. After you read it many times, it's the word of pursuit. The actual pursuit itself, if never stop pursuit, is the perfection. Because the perfection itself is elusive. It doesn't really exist. It really doesn't. If you talk about ballet, it really doesn't. Yes, you can have a perfect fit position, but you can never have a perfect vibration. And even if you have so-called perfect vibration today, you may not have it tomorrow. That's just the reality of it. But philosophically speaking, it's the pursuit, that word itself, is, if we don't stop pursuing, is an act of perfection. Beautiful. So you talk about everything in life that's happening, and if you talk about everything that relate to ballet, relate to what do we do, hard time, easy time, whatever time, that we just have to open ourselves and let it come to us. We absorb it, then use our body, use our mind, use every ounce of our power, just like chewing food. Chew them, and then you swallow them, and then the nutrient will benefit your body and your mind. So I think it's important for us to spend a kind of time to talk about it, and to truly analyze what is the happiness, what is perfection, are those words, what are those words mean to us in today's society, and especially for young people, and everything's so fast. If you want to know something, you know, when I was a student, all library with all these books, but if anything current, it's a dance magazine, but the dance magazine comes like 6 weeks later. If some alumni bought it in New York and they put it in the mail, by the time they arrived at my school, it was like six weeks later. And we look at the dance magazine, and that was everything that we have to literally like outside world of what ballet looked like. And of course we don't read the text, so all we see is the pictures. But look at the young people today, and I'm not sure whether which part is beneficial, because if we don't have the access to what's out there, we're isolated training. My teacher told us that we're not good enough every single day. We're not good enough. You're not good enough out there. So we believe it, and we work hard, and we work hard, and we work hard. And actually, the process itself was very simple because it was lacking in what? Distraction we talked about earlier. Lacking noises and lacks the information. Actually, I felt it was quite simple. The structure, the boarding school structure was simple, and I didn't have the time or other information to form different idea in my head to create distraction. So I believe, although life was hard then, but in this element, my life was easier, was simple, just because I didn't have to spend a lot of time to analyze. I didn't have to spend a lot of extra energy to digest those information. But today, young people, challenging, yeah? Different information comes in, but we still have to, as teacher, we still have to provide the instruction that containing the simplicity and the structure for them, to shield them from what's not reality from outside, to help them form a healthy mind, strong mind, to move forward in their lives and in the technique as well. So I wanted to just get this idea, just get these things out there, and I think, you know, as I often on social media and I see this information, I feel like it is important for me to share with everyone what is how my thoughts on this, and I'm looking forward. I wanted to do this often. I'm looking forward to spend more of the time communicating with everybody, and I reiterate, nobody, either you have hard time, you have easy time, you have okay time, and we don't ever really graduate from the essence of struggling, And one point I got to talk to very successful people, a very successful person at one point, and I was like, "How are you doing?" This was a very famous choreographer, and you would think that he will be like, "I'm doing really great at this moment. There's like 5 companies premiere my ballet. It's that kind of category." And he was like, "I'm struggling." I was like, "Really?" "Yes." He said, "Well, I'm never home." I didn't thought about that, right? I didn't thought about. I thought that with the 5 companies premiering his piece, different pieces all over the world this weekend. Now you think this is absolutely sign of somebody successful, and this person should be on top of the world. Not even just fame and income and resources and just satisfaction, accomplishment. And to my absolute amazement, and he says, he's struggling. And I said, what are you struggling about? And he was like, I'm never home. I'm never with my family. So this interestingly tells us that it's fair. World is fair to all of us. We have something phenomenal. We always have something that not ideal. So we just have to accept this and move forward, and to make the most positive in our lives. And forget about people telling you it is okay to give up. It's okay to be with yourself. It's not okay. I don't think it's okay. I think it's the pursuit happiness, the action of never stop pursuing success and accomplishment and perfection. That journey itself provides the happiness and the sense of joy. That's what my very last message to everyone. And I think we can, until next time, please message me if you want to have a little bit more discussion of this. But everything else, and I think we can continue to pick on another topic to talk about next week. So, everyone, thank you very much for your time, and looking forward to connect with you again. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful weekend and have a wonderful day for those of you overseas, and have a wonderful evening. Thank you very much. See you next time.